NPR feel. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Jellyhead podcast. Fall is here. Pumpkin spice is returned. We all have warm beverages except for Andy right now. Cheers to all of you. Cheers. This is the Jellyhead podcast. And today we have Girl Underground herself.
She has a name.
That's right. We have Janette. And is it Ayub or Ayub?
Ayub.
Ayub. So please join us for this wonderful conversation. So apparently women still want to do this show. So that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. It was funny because I was trying to do some research. I was like, Girl Underground music. But like when you Google Girl Underground,
You get porn.
First,
Oh.
you would think like some Silence of the Lambs shit. Like, it puts the lotion on its skirt.
I ate his liver with some fava beans and a nice Chianti. That's my other.
No, I always think about that part with the chicks in the hole, and she's like, ah, and he's like, like a fucking asshole. No, but one of the first things that comes up, it says Girl Underground Lifetime movie, and I was like, dude, that sounds fucked up. Because the only Lifetime movie I've ever seen was like, it was called Not Without My Daughter with Sally Field.
Oh, that's a good one.
Anything on Lifetime is
That's a good one.
horrible.
No,
though.
but
it's terrible.
that movie's great.
it.
It's great.
It's great.
Not Without My Daughter?
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
That was like a legit.
Yeah.
That was the only good Lifetime movie there was because it was Sally Field.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
I mean,
I
she'll,
might be swayed to watch that.
yeah,
now.
she'll win you over with that face in like 5 seconds. You ever seen Steel Magnolias?
Yes.
oh, I'm gonna cry right now thinking about it.
Kind of melted. I was like, oh.
Right? You know? You know what my favorite part of that movie is actually? Is like when they're at the
When
park.
she dies.
No! Spoiler. Shut up.
Yeah, that shit was hilarious.
No, it's when they have that possum cake, which is already weird. And then like the homegirl's like ex-husband, whatever, comes up, and she's like, oh, and she cuts him off the butt of the possum, and he's like, here you go. And he goes, nothing like a good piece of ass.
I love that you even like lifted like.
Yeah, you gotta get that southern drawl. Nah, I do have the vapors.
Kind of clenched when you did that.
You
Like,
know,
oh god.
I can be catty
Someone
too.
wrote that into a movie.
It's great. It's great. It's great.
Okay, so Girl Underground music blog. This is tight because how long have you been doing this for? Because
I've been doing this for 4 years.
4 years. Okay, so yeah, you've been consistent. Like I remember hearing about you when I started jamming with Adrian. Like when we kind of started Person Pale up and stuff, and I was like, I always thought we had like the same. We're like the same age.
Contemporaries.
Yeah. But it's cool. I mean, and I've seen like from where you started to like where you are now. It's
Piece
like,
of shit. Yeah, I started from piece of shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was horrible. It was horrible when I started. Like when I started, it was legit a blog, and that was like, oh hey, like I'm on the radio today, and I'm just gonna play this song. Everything was an accident how it happened. So.
That's why I'm here.
Yeah.
I've been
Yeah,
doing,
me too.
doing all right.
Yeah, you know.
My parents didn't plan shit.
No.
Yeah, they ain't that smart.
Support group after.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh,
Yeah.
straight up.
This is my support group.
Keep it together.
So
And
how?
it's-
So
yeah,
where did that all start?
trying.
Because you used to be on what was it? What's the
KSPC.
KSPC.
Mm-hmm.
You used to be a DJ on there.
Mm-hmm.
Used to work at Guitar Center.
Yeah.
You still so you've always been in music. Do you play any instruments that I don't know?
I started on the drums when I was, I think it was like 15?
Nice.
15, 16, and then that went to shit because when I was in high school, we lost our house, so I was homeless. So I lived
wow.
in a hotel, and I had to get rid of all of my shit. So I never got back to it, and I said, well, what's something that I have been doing consistently? Writing.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually used to write about bands in journalism. So I'm like, you know what, let's just keep this going. But again, I still didn't put the pieces together. So when I went on KSBC, it was like literally just, I was super depressed. And I'm like, man, I need to do something because I'm going to kill myself. Like that's just like the my saying just for everything. Like I'm just going to kill myself.
Yeah, you've said it 4 times. Since
I
you've
know,
been here.
right?
Before we
But
started
again,
filming,
I'm
yeah,
not
yeah.
serious. I have a really dark sense of humor, so a lot of people have actually reached out to me and like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, I would have done it already. Like, just chill.
Yeah.
But anyway, right?
When it happens,
You'll know.
you'll know.
Like, oh, you know what? At least she had a goal, and she reached it. Like, I want people to know that at least, if I set out to do something, I'm gonna do it.
If you hear the word "kill yourself," you want to play a drinking game.
Yeah.
You want to get smashed. You can.
How many times did
You're
Janette
like-
want to commit suicide?
I tried to commit suicide, but I freaked it. All right. Anyways, I'm sorry.
That's a good story.
Yeah.
I'm a little curious.
No.
No, it's
we
from
won't
a
get into
song.
that.
Oh, okay.
That's right. That's all what you want to just.
It's
You're
part,
like, no.
It's part joke. It's part joke and a little sprinkle of truth. But we won't get into that because
Well,
that's
no,
too
'cause
depressing to
the
start
thing-
this thing on.
The thing I freaked it is from
Yeah,
the
it's from
song
that
King's
song.
Dead.
Yeah. Schlabaminab.
I like when he says "fuck me" in the car. I don't know why it makes me laugh. Because it's just funny to say in that song. You know what I mean? And actually, that song, it's weird. If you go on Spotify and you look up James Blake, that's the first song. That's like the biggest hit.
That's sad.
Yeah.
James Blake was on that track?
I don't know if he's on it but he did have something to do with it apparently. Because like literally right now, if you go on James Blake's Spotify, #1 most popular song is King's Dead.
Adrian's fact checking right now.
Do it.
He's like, we can't.
I'll
put
bet
out
my
this.
life on it.
Oh, why?
Ha See that? I have a sense of humor and I'm dark.
See, fucking James Blake was tight, but he freaked it. All right, that's enough of that.
Like, stop it.
Now we're getting sued. Anyways.
No, he didn't play. What's the limit? You
I think
can
it's like
only play like.
10 seconds,
See that?
something like that.
There we go. Suck me, James Blake.
Slob on me
it.
knob. Slob on me knob.
Yeah.
My G.
All right, so you started this whole thing, and you've come up.
In a way, I guess.
You've come. I mean, people know who you are. We know who you are.
I know who you is.
Thanks.
So how did
Give
you
it
get it
that
all
stuff.
started? Like, what was the process like?
Okay, yeah. Again, back to the KSBC and depression. So I'm doing like my air check and
Yes.
everything, and I don't got a name for myself. I have no idea what the fuck to call anything. I went through some horrible names. I'm just like kind of writing it down. The first track that I played was from Girl in a Coma. And when you're kind of like having your sheet, it just says what type of music you're playing, which is underground. So it just said underground. I kind of like put the album on it and it said Girl Underground. And I'm like,
No way.
I'm just going to fucking roll with that. So I did that for the air check and I'm recording myself and I'm like, yeah, this is, Janette KSBC, Girl Underground. It went through, it passed. And I'm like, well, it'll give me some time to think of a real name. I never thought of another name.
That's so good though.
And it just kind of stuck. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to roll with this shit. So then I made the blog and I'm like, okay, today, I'm doing this, blah, blah, blah. And then a band reached out. I was like, hey, can you review our stuff? And I'm like, people do that? Like, you want me to listen to your stuff? And it's like, yeah, and write about it. I was like, fuck, all right. So I wrote about it. And then publicists started hitting me up. And I was like, pretending, just 100% just pulling everything out of my ass. And I'm like, yeah, I can do this. I have no idea what I was doing. And I just kind of went with it. I would just read a whole bunch of other articles saying, okay, they wrote it like that. That is the style. I have to copy that. And that is exactly what I've been doing. So when publicists hit me up, I'm like, yeah, I got it. But I still don't know what I'm doing. Just kind of winging it.
That's
That's
what most
cool.
pros say.
Yeah.
It's true.
Here I am.
Well, if you knew what you were doing, it would be boring.
Yeah, that
You
is
know?
true.
It's like, how am I gonna fake it this week?
Yeah.
And that's tight. And you get to figure it out.
We've talked about that before too. Like that's the magic zone. Being just a little bit outside of your depth, to where it forces you to kind of be instinctive,
Mm-hmm.
but then like still execute things like that.
Yeah.
So basically, you're a fucking hustler. And that's
Yeah.
fucking tight.
Hustle, baby. You know?
That's cool. And do you have other writers under you now?
I do have about 3 or 4. They come in and out. Consistently at a time, I will probably only have 2 right now because school is starting. A lot of the girls that help me out are kind of using me as an internship, and then they get better jobs, which is cool. I'm kind of like that platform. It's bittersweet, but it's like, fuck, I need people.
Yeah. Fuck yeah. How many
That's rad.
submissions do you get like on the regular?
Man, okay, so I have, probably about 100 because I got 2 emails. So right now I have about 20,000 emails that I haven't looked through.
Fuck.
So that's what's like, oh, just hit me up on my cell phone.
That's insane.
Yep.
What got you into the whole blog thing? Like, what made you like want to like actually do that? Like,
I guess if I kind of like backtrack when I was telling you guys, when I was like homeless and stuff, the one thing that I was doing was journalism because I went to La Puente, so I was in journalism. And I would write about certain bands, but again, I didn't kind of like put that concept together. Mm-hmm. And when I was like going through my, I don't know, what would you call it, like a hoe phase or, you know, you just kind of like just fucking this, fucking that, literally, and just drinking and just being really rebellious
or
angry.
Yeah, or as
punk as fuck.
Punk as fuck, you know, going to all these shows, meeting random people on the streets. They're like, yeah, you know, come and check out my band. I'm like, cool,
Mm-hmm.
you're 25, I'm 16 for sure, you know? So I would go out, see all of these bands, and that just kind of like kept me going.
Mm-hmm.
So I've always wanted to go back to school, but I could never go to school because I was homeless and because I didn't have the money, I didn't have this. So it took me like 10 years for the option to just go back to school. So I just said, fuck it. You know, if I can't do that, I'm going to fucking, it's not going to stop me doing from what I want to do, which is writing.
Yeah.
So.
This is fucking cool.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
You know.
You know, I was like, when you said that, all the funny things I was thinking about, they're just like, because I was like, that's deep. That's like why we do this podcast, why we talk about all of these different subjects, because I don't know, that's like the heart of everything is like, why do we continue these pursuits? And like a lot of us are carving our own path and figuring it out at the same time. So that's it. That was the end of my sentence and my thought. What do you have to add?
So did you graduate? You didn't graduate high school? You did?
No, I did. I graduated high school barely. It was weird. I had AP classes in English, and then I failed fucking everything else because I would ditch, and I was just like, fuck this, fuck life. And by a miracle, I graduated and I walked. So
Nice.
Thank God.
I was telling my friend last night, I was hanging out with her for her birthday. What's up, Alice? Happy birthday and shit. Didn't come out way after your birthday. Anyways,
Belated.
we were talking about all this stuff, like we were talking about high school and all that shit, and like they were talking about, oh, prom, this prom. I was like, I go to fucking prom. I was like, I didn't graduate because I dropped out. And like I remember like they're talking about their shit, and I watched her graduate from like a fence.
It's
Like
so
just
depressing.
seriously, like some part of me, I felt like you seen Terminator 2, like Sarah Connor, and she has that nightmare, and she just explodes. And that's how I felt, and she was ah. But I still got to go to grad night and do drugs.
Nice.
So,
That's the best part.
Yeah, we went to Disneyland and I did drugs. That's what your kids are doing, parents out there.
But now you're here.
Now I'm
See?
here, living a life of artistic mediocrity and like
Doing most of the same stuff, but with no fingerless gloves now.
exactly, and no guy liner today.
Wasn't feeling it.
It's just I was running late. And I was like,
Got it. You want to match, right?
So what?
For sure.
I got you.
Yeah.
What's your brand?
we're just gonna do the rest of this thing. I'm gonna be painting my nails. I'm like, that's fucking tight, girl.
I don't even paint my nails. So you're one step ahead of me.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Some people think it's weird, but I like on Instagram on the Explore page, you know, sometimes you'll get like these like hair tutorial videos, or it's like barber videos, or sometimes there's like nail ones where people do like nail art.
Mm-hmm.
And I will find myself just
Jacking
going
off to
down a
that?
rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Same, you know.
I mean, what's up?
Yeah.
But no, and then like I'll have to.
Wow, this one looks like Winnie the
It's
Pooh.
No, because I was gonna say actually, I'm surprised you said that because your nails look super nice. But then I was like, I was just gonna say that randomly, but then I was like, maybe she'll be like, why are you looking at my nails?
No.
But
Why are you so self-conscious?
Yeah, dude. Hey, we're not here to kink shame, dude. If you're into nails, you're into nails.
If that's what gets you off, that's what gets you off. It's cool.
I'm
You do
sorry.
you.
Okay.
Literally.
I feel better now. Thank you.
So, I think it's super dope that you're doing all these music reviews. I'm gonna try to keep us on track. Like I'm gonna try really hard. But I think it's super dope that you're doing all this stuff, and you're a really good writer. Like
Thank you.
solid. Like you've given us not only one of the only people who's ever reviewed us, but like you actually do a really like an awesome job at it. You always have nice things to say, and you're always real. about it.
Thank you. I try.
Yeah. I think it's very unbiased, which is cool.
Yeah, I get some. That's kind of like what started certain beefs. Is, like they're like, oh yeah, you know, like the homie, you know, you can write about this. It's like, but you suck, you know.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that. So a lot of people know, like one of my friends, Illy, I didn't start writing about her until after, because I've straight out told her, like, no, girl, like, you sucked in the beginning, but now you don't suck, and I
Right.
support you.
Right.
Yeah.
So she's like probably one of the few that respects that and understands that, but a lot of people are like, no, like, well, how come you're not writing about us, you're not sharing about us? And it's like, but you suck, I can't do that.
What about if it's a band that's like busy but sucks?
What do you mean? What does busy have to do with anything?
Well, because I don't know, like
Just I'm busy.
if a band because like if a band sucks but they're not doing anything and nobody knows who they are, then it's like,
If they
I
have
wouldn't write about them.
potential, then, and if I see something in them, I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna give this person a chance.
Right.
That's why my reviews, or our reviews, what I tell the girls, stray away from ratings, because once you put a rating in there, you've already thrown out that perception, and you've already judged and labeled it. Everybody's music is subjective. Everybody has their own opinions. I'm going to give you the gist of it, of what I think. Listen to yourself, figure it out. That's it. But just somebody that I feel has, potential, I'm going to share it.
Right.
See, but that's what's fucking dope about it. It's like, especially with you having those like kind of preconceived, just like, this is how we do this, is that a lot of people don't do that, and like it's hard as fuck for anyone to find new music today, because everything's either so saturated, or it's like the only things being pushed are whatever little scenes are,
Yes.
It's like, and it's so fucking hard. So your fucking catalog of everything you reviewed is eclectic as fuck,
Thank you.
which is tight. And the fact that you do that and not rating it and all that stuff, and you understand that it's perceptive, and I don't see you charging bands for fucking this shit, it's fucking cool. It's like, it's a solid blog. Check that shit out.
Thank you.
Fuck.
Shameless plug.
Big Dom.
I got no shame. Hey, but no, like, shameless plug. She's reviewed Porcelain Pale like 3 times, so like, fucking hit that out.
Type it in the
Check
search
that out,
bar.
No, that was what I was saying about being like busy but not good, because there are like scenes that are popular, and then there are bands that play in those scenes that are busy because the scene's popping, but then they're not really good. So I was like, I guess if it was like, the way I took what you said was like, if it's like an amateur band that's like just starting out and they really haven't done anything, it wouldn't really benefit them to have a review to begin with, because nobody's heard them. So if it's like a band that plays a lot but they suck, are you gonna be like, yeah, I'm gonna write about you, but I'm gonna say how I feel?
That's a little bit interesting. I guess, again, it just depends. I mean, I can't really just say that I'm probably gonna get a submission. Well, I heard, I'm also a busy band.
Right.
But it just depends on the situation. So that's just something that I have to really trust in my own judgment, and hopefully, like, the readers can trust my judgment as of now, which is why I'm trying to keep everything consistent, because I want somebody to be like, you know what, I'm gonna give this a shot because so and so, because she's never, fucked up on this. I probably, have thrown out some shit that probably to some other people it sucked, but I saw something in them. Yeah. So just trying to
but
keep
like you
it
said,
in
it's
that
subjective
realms.
at least.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's based on your opinion entirely.
Yeah.
Which is cool. But
Because you know what, like, as a person who reviews music, ratings or not, you are like a tastemaker. People, like you said, if you review these 5 or 6 albums or bands, and you say, I like them for these different reasons, then yeah, somebody who frequents your website is gonna be like, okay, I'm gonna check out whatever she says because I like, what they review, basically. Yeah. And basically what I'm getting at is, like, I think that between you and Anthony Fantano, you would probably win in a fight.
I love Anthony Fantano. I mean, I didn't like his recent review on Interpol, but I did respect his opinions. But I was like, fuck, a 4-man? Come on, bruh. What the fuck?
You thought it was better than that, or what? Or you didn't like
I thought it was better than that. I mean, the last album before that, I didn't like it. But I get it. They were trying to come back out. What's his face left? This is like now a trio. Paul Banks is on the bass. So it was going to be rough because that was their introduction. Now you've had 4 years. This is really, it's polished. It's got that post-punk NYC vibe to it. It's them. What the fuck he was talking about. But, I respect him.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah, he's cool.
But you would still probably win in a fight.
I would
you'd beat him up.
I would love to meet him.
Yeah?
Yeah. Probably fangirl, and then I'd beat him up.
Just throw him off.
Like, oh my God. And then punch him.
Sweet. I've talked about, like, there's no Criterion collection for music. There's no one entity.
Is there not really?
I don't think there is.
I'm
I don't
sure
think
there's like a Criterion-esque thing
There
for
might
like
be.
jazz.
Well, sure. Yeah, there's like Blue Note. I think
yeah.
they only put out stuff that's really like, I don't know, like canon
Well, they
for
can't-
that genre.
They can't do it now. They can't do it now because bands have such a short fucking lifespan.
But even with that, stuff. Even people who who are one-hit wonders, they can do something that's like a cultural phenomenon. Like
Yeah, Wallflowers. Fucking one headlight. What's up?
what?
No, I'm sorry.
No, but what was I gonna say? With what you said about Interpol, a lot of times, and especially because music now is such a commodity, and you can just listen to it in bites like that and not really digest it. You kind of miss out on why something might be cool or not.
Yes.
So, for instance, when I was younger, I didn't understand why people liked "Bitches Brew" by Miles Davis so much. And then I watched a documentary about Miles Davis where they talk about, he was trying to blend rock and roll and jazz together because he really liked Jimi Hendrix and he really liked what certain other people were doing. And he wanted to just kind of like break the norm and blend that with jazz. But it was primordial, you know what I mean? So that's why a lot of that record sounds like that. It's just them figuring it out. And then as
It's experimenting.
it's true experimentation, right?
Yeah.
But if you just listen, you'll hear all this acclaim about how amazing it was and da 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 da. But then if you just listen to it at face value, the reaction I had, I'm thinking, oh, you got all these jazz guys, it must be insane, and they're doing rock and roll and electric da da da. And then you hear it, and you're kind of like, ah, man, that was how I felt at first. Watch the documentary, and then I'm like, oh, that's amazing. And then you hear all that, and then now I'm inspired by it. So that's what I'm saying. That's why I think music reviews and having that backstory is awesome. You know what I mean? I mean, people are that deep into it and fanatical, like with sports. They'll watch somebody go from high school, college into NFL, NBA, or whatever, and they're like, yeah, but you don't understand because he's this and that. And there are those bigger entities that do that. Like, you can watch ESPN, and they will say like, this, we've been following this guy since college, and here's his career starting, and then people are excited about that. With movies, people follow directors, they get the director's cut and everything. Criterion, they'll get all the features you want. And it'd be cool, I don't know, if there was something like that deep for music.
Certain publications do have a criteria. When I worked for, one of my first writing jobs was AXS. It was in Brooklyn. And they fucked me over so many times. They don't exist anymore, so that's why they fucked everyone over. But they had a criteria, like you could not review this if this artist didn't have a certain amount of likes.
Yeah.
You couldn't do this, you couldn't do that. This is what to look for. So they did have a criteria. So knowing that is something that I wanted to stray away, because we do have all of these stories.
Yeah.
And it's not fair. It's not fair to give that. But then there's also like this double-edged sword of when you're reviewing, especially someone, I'm going to go back to Interpol, that this isn't their first album. So if this was their first album, would it be 5 stars? Because you have nothing to compare it to.
Right.
So now that you have this whole collection of work, now you have this whole story, now you have to go in. So it's like, where do you kind of draw the line? How do you balance it? And sometimes it is hard. I mean, go back to like Kendrick Lamar's Damn. I liked it. I didn't think it was his greatest work. If it would have came out before, like To Pimp a Butterfly, like the placement, how would the reviews, how would people absorb it differently?
Right.
So then you're trying to like introduce something to just blind and mute people. And that's how I'm trying to, I know that sounds really, I'm going to get a whole bunch of hate mail. Like, fucking talking about blind and mute people. But
it's okay. They can't see or hear you. So, oh wait, no. Well, they can't hear or say shit anyway.
I read her lips. Oh, please don't. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's the end of my sentence.
There you go. No, so is that something you go into like at face value? Like, okay, this is what's your initial reaction when you are doing reviews? I don't know, or does that change each time?
When I do reviews, I don't read anything. When you send submissions in, I don't read fucking anything that you send in. I click the song, and I'm listening to it because I want to be completely unbiased. I don't want to hear about, you know, you almost killed yourself, live in your car.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to hear any about that fucking stuff to judge or to sway my opinion on the actual work. I don't want to know who you're connected to, who you fucked, who you want to fuck. I don't want to know any of that. Just let me listen to the music. I listen to it and I say, okay, you know what? This is pretty cool. Now let me go check out the story. So that's kind of been my thing. And I get a lot of European submissions. I love music from the UK. That's just my personal preference.
Yeah.
And especially East Coast. So that's how I kind of started. So when I'm going in, I just want to be kind of like wine tasting. You want to cleanse your palate every single time. So I'll just put on like weird fucking music in the background sometimes to just get my brain off of just constantly listening through the repetitive shit. And then, you know, not to say everything that's sent my way is repetitive shit sometimes. But then, you know, so I can just be clear.
Right. That's dope.
Yeah, I guess.
So you like UK stuff, you like East Coast stuff. Let's just talk shit on West Coast music right now. Let's just fucking burn a hole in that shit. Yo, dude, LA sucks. Dude.
LA's got potential. I mean, anywhere you go, it's just the fucking clicks. Like you can't break that. It doesn't matter. It's just the clicks. My personal preference of like I've always been into post punk. I've always been into
The gothy shit, man.
Yeah, that kind of shit. New wave. That is where I find relief. And that's just something that wasn't really big in the West Coast.
Yeah.
Until after. So
maybe it's because we don't have like real winters around here.
Yeah,
so it's
we
like
can't-
nobody really got it.
we can't
Like,
really
you know.
feel cold
because it
and
was
write
all
our
UK shit.
feelings.
You're looking at Buzzcocks, Joy Division, Baja's. Well, no, Baja's Peter Murphy's American. Right?
They I think that they
Is it?
fit
Am I
in
fucking
with
up?
that.
They're still. You can put them in there. Yeah.
Yeah, but whatever. The Cure, you know, shit like that.
You should
The
have seen
Cure's
her face when
pornography.
you should have seen her face when she was like, oh.
You stupid fuck.
Zoom in on my face later.
Right? No, but
Cringe moments. No. Now I
Also
want to
drugs.
kill myself.
yes,
Ding ding ding.
we'll do it together.
That's your time to drink, everybody.
So it's only like legit. The only people who listen to it out here were like the Latinos, growing up in like whatever and going to 80s clubs.
Yeah.
Like that's it. Like you didn't have any bands really trying to do any of that shit, you know. Well, I forgot where I was going with this because you guys fucking made fun of my Baja statement.
Well, I said like it doesn't get like wintry around here, so it's not like maybe it's like the. I don't think that factors into it a whole lot, but I mean, you know.
I would think so.
You think so? Like the
Yeah,
climate.
you get really
you know,
fucking depressed, and you're like, today I'm gonna kill myself. You know, and you have a really cool melodic bass riff.
Especially being Latino. Like that's how
Yeah.
you talk about killing yourself all the time.
Yeah, that's
Straight up. Or getting killed by your spouse.
yeah. In the background of like my non music, so yeah.
Oh God. So we threw that show together at DBA. And that was fun. That was tight. Thank you very much again for that, by the way. You really came through. I feel like I was completely unprepared, and Adrian made jellyfish, and that's how
Where's that?
went.
There's one right there. Yeah.
Yeah.
You were so drunk at the end of the night.
I was shitty.
I was like, I don't even think you could like go on stage and say something. So when I was on the side, when I finally went, when I was talking to you, you were just like, you know, just kind of like back and forth. And I'm all, man, I feel like he's gonna fall. And
But
is
he-
it a bad person if I don't help him? Like I'm just watching. I was just kind of like
You know what
watching.
sucks is I didn't even feel it until the end of the night. Like I just felt like good. I felt energized, and then as soon as like the music stopped and shit, and I was just like,
Fuck me.
"Oh, that wasn't the light spinning. It was me." So it was just my perception. I was like, "Uh-oh!" And I remember getting on a ladder and like fucking up my knuckles on a fan.
That's the second time you've done that since I've known you.
What was the first time?
This fan, right there.
Fuck that fan.
But I was trying to like take out one of the jellyfish, and I was like, and he told me like 3 times, "Hey, watch out for the fan." I was like, "Yeah, I got this shit." And he's like, "Watch out for the fan." I was like, "I know, fool, I got it." He's like, "Watch out for the fan."
Clack, clack,
I was
clack,
like,
clack,
"Okay." I went, "Ow, fuck!" And then just like hurt myself, and it happened 3 times. It was ridiculous. And then Max was finally like, "You're not allowed to be on the ladder anymore."
Yeah.
I'm gonna get
After the
rest of
third time, right?
Yeah. I giggled and then I was like, all right, come down.
Yeah.
Don't do that anymore.
Like I live streamed it and
Yeah.
then I told you to come back.
Then I made a boomerang of it. I thought, wait, I thought we were gonna talk about the good that we did.
Oh yeah, we did some really good
For-
things. We raised money for Edgar. So for those of you who saw the second episode, and like,
Those of you who came to the show, those of you who donated,
Thank you.
thank you.
all of
so
you guys,
much.
thank you so much. We are doing this from the ground up, and it's because of all of you
Viewers
that
like
it was a
you.
success. Because of viewers like you.
Yes.
All
Butterfly in the
25 of you.
sky. Edit that out. He didn't say anything. A lot of people came. It was amazing. It was a lot of fun.
No, I meant 25 viewers.
Oh,
There
sorry.
was a lot
Sorry,
of people at the
25
show.
viewers. Yeah, okay. So that might be accurate. But for people who came to the show, thank you so much. Thanks for being there with us and being present and sharing your energy with us. Wait,
I felt that.
my third eye.
Mm,
I just found out from my my Lyft driver, this is the evil eye. But it keeps away evil. Yeah, she was cool. Her name was Olivia. And so thanks for coming to the show. That was the end of that right there. But yeah, so as the Lyft driver, she was a horse trainer.
What?
Yeah, and she told me a lot about horses. She said that there's hot-blooded, warm-blooded, and cold-blooded horses.
Why don't I not believe that? Cold-blooded?
Well, those are the ones
Well-
that will kick you
No,
because that's just cold.
no, that's what I thought too. So she told me that the hot-blooded ones are the Arabian ones. So- and then,
just point.
yeah,
The Arabian ones, you know? The sandy ones.
the Zandy ones. Yeah. She said those are the ones that'll like will hurt you pretty bad and stuff. But then the warm-blooded one, it goes kind of like contrary to what you think. But like hot-blooded is descriptive. But the cold-blooded, she said those are like the biggest ones, like
Clydesdales?
like a Clydesdale, like a Budweiser horse. They're real big and they're pretty docile and they won't run away from stuff. She said that's actually the horse that she recommends for like first-time riders because they just don't get scared of anything. So they're like a good non-skittish horse, but they're also very like large. And I was like, I identify with that.
Shot 2 moments later, picking out your horse.
Yeah.
We just understand each other.
Tight.
I would like that actually. Like, no, I thought it was like
Now we're gonna have to do that.
yeah, just like me on the beach, see a horse, strip, gotta strip,
Yeah.
and then get on the horse.
Turn that Mr. Hands video.
Mr. Hands.
Should I not? All right, so let's talk about music. Let's talk about more
Oh,
music.
yeah, music, huh?
Because that's like a big thing,
Yeah.
isn't it? That's what we're all into.
We're related to music, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's incredibly fucking difficult to find new music these days, right? I do my best. You have certain things. You have Pandora, you have Spotify, you have... I for the longest time, I used to use Last.fm because it was before Pandora, Spotify,
Yeah.
and all that. And I used to be like, okay, similar artists and stuff like that. And I'd be like, Joy Division, and then like a bunch of like... And they would be like unsigned, and then most similar and all that shit. Now it's really fucking hard. What's harder for me, not even just to like find new bands in general, just to listen to, is to find bands in my area that are doing something other than psych rock. But it's hard to find locals, you know? So with you, it's like, how many LA submissions do you get typically?
Like, I'm trying to like narrow it down for like a day. So I guess like out of the 100 submissions that I get a day, I'll probably get maybe half in LA.
Wow.
Or if somebody's touring and they're like, hey, you know, they're going to be in LA. Do you want to check them out? They're playing with so-and-so. So then if you want to break that down, that's probably like maybe a third of that. So now it's pretty hefty because I, like I said in the beginning, just focused on European. And I'm like, ooh, I should probably focus on locals. So kind of went that way.
Okay, so with that, like, and how much of, and be honest here, like, how much of it is either just the same, or how much of it is original and, like, worth listening to, in your opinion?
Probably like 1 out of the 100. And that's just me being really honest. So that's why it's really time consuming to put out something. It's not like, oh, you know what, I have so many submissions, I can write about all of this. No, well, it's so saturated. Like we were talking about before, it's the same shit. You can kind of like see the different trends though. That is really cool because I'm pretty analytical and I analyze all of that shit. So Yeah, 1%, I would say.
See, that's fucking rough. And it's like, with that, see, we talk a lot of shit about psych rock.
Yeah.
Like, especially on this podcast. We do. We joke around a lot about it. There's nothing wrong with psych rock. There's nothing wrong with it. There's just something wrong with everyone doing it.
Yes.
And not really doing it that well.
Yeah.
It's just the same thing, the same fucking shoegazing chords over and over again.
Yeah.
Or like when Tame Impala was out, it was like everybody had to suck that dick, and that was
Exactly. Yes.
that was it. And it's just like, fuck, like I don't want this. Like, let me die another way, please. So, yeah.
Okay, so I mean, what is your kind of thing? Like, I mean, when you hear all this stuff, it's like, how long do you give a track? First of all, do you listen to a whole track through? Because I assume that takes a lot of fucking time.
The majority of the time, yes, because I've missed out on a couple of good artists because I only judged 30 seconds.
Oh yeah, well you can't.
And there was another platform that I used. It was from Submit Hub. No, yeah, it was from Indie Shuffle. I would say the owner branched off into something called Submit Hub to help artists, help blogs. It was a great idea. I still think it's a great idea, but it's just not for me. But you had the option kind of like to choose like 30 seconds and maybe 45 seconds to hear the track, but you can't really judge a lot from it because they might,
That's just
not
an
do
intro.
they might not do the regular structure.
Or what if it's like a slower tempo song that's like kind of like
it's leading
builds
up to
toward the end or something.
Amazing break, and it's like, you know what, that stole the track. Let me listen to everything else. Okay, maybe this wasn't the greatest track to showcase, but now this whole album's amazing. Now we found a new artist. So that's why I guess you would say I do listen to the whole fucking song. I try to be really fair and generous, which is why I take forever.
Nice.
But that's good though. That's good because it's kind of one of those things.
Because that means
like,
you give a shit though.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Try.
I'm gonna assume that there are other bands that watch this, and for us, dude, it's hard. It's been a fucking a pain in the ass to get our stuff reviewed. For the longest time. And I think that comes with a lot of stuff, like based on us, like not knowing who we are yet, still discovering our sound, starting off at this cute little poppy thing and then trying to venture into something experimental that wasn't still quite experimental enough. And there's plenty of fucking reasons. But with that, as someone who takes in those submissions, like what would you advise people do? Or like what do you look for? Like what are you like hoping for every single time you open your emails?
I'm hoping for something. I mean, I know it's going to sound really lame, just like hoping for something I've never heard before, but just hoping for something that makes me feel like there's potential. I know I've said that before, it's so subjective, but you can hear a lot about the structure, the chords. Oh, that's really interesting that they decided to, do it this way. They used that chord, they used that riff for something within this genre. That's pretty interesting. I'm just looking for something fresh, I guess.
That's like the holy grail.
Yes. So sometimes I'll come across those artists and I'm like, fuck, this is amazing. This is really great. It's a shame nobody gave you guys a shot. So.
I like that. When you were talking about finding new music, I was talking about this with somebody yesterday, that you used to get really unbiased, unfiltered, like bands or types of music coming your way, right? So like nowadays you have things like, you got Instagram and Facebook ads, you got YouTube ads, and you have Spotify and all those different platforms. And I think, with Spotify playlists, they actually have people making those playlists, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's one thing, and that's fine. But with these like algorithms, like Pandora, for instance, I don't know if it's always people that do it. I think that they go like, oh, this song has like a syncopated rhythm and it has like minor chord tonality, so like maybe you'll like this. And sometimes it gets it right, but not always. But it starts to like filter something that's subjective down to like these little like distilled points. And I kind of illustrated it with like, imagine if you go to a buffet and the second you walk into the buffet, you see Italian food, you see Chinese food, you see Mexican food, American food, everything.
So you're in Vegas.
Right. You're in Vegas.
Okay.
Doesn't matter. Right. So you just have
Fucking stoned.
whole smorgasbord of food, right? And then you decide, oh, I'm in the mood for pizza. So then you grab a slice of pizza and you put it on your plate. And now all of a sudden, instead of still seeing everything, you're now, oh, you like Italian food?
Yeah.
And then you just see the Italian food.
Yeah.
And now your taste is, yeah, Italian food. And you never tried all this other stuff. And with it being so subjective, it's kind of like, it would be cool if they did something where it was just like complete random stuff. Like, and you might not even like it, but it would just be cool, I think, for people that are using this convenient platform, and it is kind of like shaping their taste in music, which then shapes like trends, and then it shapes, that's why people want to sound like Tame Impala, because they're successful.
Yeah.
So you kind of can't blame them in a way. And then I'm sure that for a lot of those artists or newer artists, younger kids and stuff, they're picking up an instrument because they want to be like those bands, because that's what's in front of them. Because like when I was growing up, or when we're all growing up, it's like, you heard stuff that your parents and your older siblings were listening to. There was this stuff on the radio, and then you hit your early teenage years, and then you developed your own taste in music. And then as that changed and your friends change and everything, you get all this different stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then you start liking and not liking things for different reasons. Like you might, like for me, for instance, like, I liked Linkin Park when I was 10, and I thought they were amazing. And then they became corny. And then when Chester died, I was like, I love Linkin Park, man. So I wonder how that's going to shape the scope and the landscape of music as things go on,
I think people are starting to realize that. Like, say Spotify. I fucking love Spotify because on Fresh Finds, I think that's one of their playlists. That's something what they're talking about, or what you were talking about. Like, it's just everything that's any genre. So you can just play that and you can go off into like a wormhole of shit, or like on YouTube.
That's
like
awesome,
they've stepped up their game for YouTube music. Listen to one track, you just keep going down.
You're
that
right.
whole...
Because I think I found out about the band Crumb.
Oh, Crumb, yeah.
Yeah, then I love that band. You know what I mean? It was so like, oh, this is great, because it was like lo-fi, but they knew they know what they're doing. So I was like, yeah.
But going back to the, I guess, kind of like how Spotify's doing it, it's more of user-based. Like they're starting to know that people want reviews. Like if you're gonna go out to go eat something, what's one of the first things you do is like, hey, like, have you been there? Like, what do you like about it? Let me go check on Yelp. Like, let me go check this place out. People want that personal touch, and that's why, like, when blogs were dead, they're starting to see like, oh shit, like, people want opinions. So then it's kind of like going back into this life cycle, or like this ecosystem, as I call it, of what do the people want, and they're starting to see that. So I feel like Spotify is like one of the only ones that's actually doing that.
No, if only they paid
Spotify
their
hired me.
artists more, that would be so. They have it just right.
Yeah, they're working on it.
Well, it's interesting too, because like that was what I was thinking about with Twin Oaks, because like I wasn't too familiar with their stuff, but I guess it's because I'm more so like on the, like I know about local bands because playing shows with them a lot of the time. And then when you were telling me that they really hadn't played too many shows, and then I checked, because I just signed up for Spotify Premium recently. I had to change my opinion on it, like, because I still feel strongly about like the payout, like the artist payout. That sucks. But the amount of data and that they provide to musicians, and I guess they do kind of live up to their promise of, I guess, like getting you to new listeners. And Twin Oaks is a pretty good example of that. And I was just thinking about it because, I feel like the people who would maybe frequent Spotify and who are looking for new music, they're going to listen to bands that kind of sound like them. Yeah. Like Twin Oaks. And Twin Oaks has a great sound, but it's also very like, if you're just going to have something on throughout the day, like, like I like Animals as Leaders, but I'll listen to like an album and then I'll be like, okay, I'm like satisfied. You know what I mean? But I could listen to Twin Oaks like all day, and music like that. I could listen to it all day. And yeah, they have a lot of listeners. Like a lot of their songs have like 60,000 plays or something like that. And for like an unsigned, by definition, like local band, that's amazing. I mean, I don't know if there would be any other really like platform that would do that for you. Yeah. And a lot of it's because they're getting onto like, I think
it's because it was playlists, and the fact that they got into those UK blogs. Yeah. Because UK blogs did so much for them, and we were talking about that when we had them on, and they were like, this was completely on accident. We had this one dude up and just sent him a thing, and then before we knew it.
That's what I love about UK in general, because they don't have like that, oh, you know, you're not so and so, you don't got that many likes.
Yeah.
They are just like, it's good, let me just fucking show you some love. That's why I love them so much.
They still give a fuck.
Yes.
See, but that's what I'm saying. Yeah, out here, dude, it's saturated as fuck. And it's like, dude, the fact that there are music blogs out there that will charge you to
Right.
get a fucking review.
When
And
you're
that's
You don't
the
even care about what the music is.
out of curiosity, since you guys are on the other side of the fence and you're like submitting, what is the going rate? I'm writing this down. No, but what's the going rate?
It depends on the blog. It depends on the blog. Like,
For like
some of
30,
them were
40
like
bucks?
30, 40 bucks, sometimes
Yeah, that's
50. And then sometimes blogs will be like, look, well, here's what we'll do. You send you give us like 150 bucks and we'll do this whole fucking thing where we'll do this. We'll review your album or your track.
It's like a package.
I'm distracted. Look
Knock
at
it off. Knock it off.
Sorry.
I'm giving facts. They're like, we'll review your stuff. We'll do an interview. We'll fucking have you up on our site on the front page for X amount of time, and we'll keep pushing you on social media. But it's just a racket. It's like, but you don't give a fuck about the music. You don't give a fuck. It's like, I get it, dude. Everyone needs to make money, and if you can, fucking hustle. Do
Yeah.
your fucking thing. But don't take advantage of these. To me, that's the same as pay to play. It's
Yeah.
actually
It
worse.
is.
I
It
hate
You know,
that.
it's like, you know, and pay to play. Where does that exist?
Here.
L.A.
Because I will get submissions and they'll say, so how much would you charge to have this, and that? And I'm like, first of all, I don't charge. And they're like, oh, sweet. And they send me their stuff. I'm like, I'm not pushing this out. It sucks.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
The fact that
sorry.
you have to ask how
better.
much. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's, dude, it's fucking disgusting out here, dude. It's disgusting. I hate it. Dude, pay to play. We have to explain what pay to play is, because there's some people out here, and like, that I know some of my friends, they're not musicians. They don't know.
So the whiskey will email you and say, hey, would you like to play at the world famous Whiskey A Go-Go? And you're in high school, so you'll be like, hell yeah, that's amazing. We must be doing pretty good. And then they're like, great. All you have to do is come to the whiskey and pick up this envelope of 25 tickets, and you can sell them for 10 or 12 bucks. And then you bring us to $250 and you get to play. So basically what happens is you sell 10 or 15 of them, you start giving some away to certain friends, and you go, we'll just front the money. And then the week of the show comes and you're like, dang, we only sold 10 tickets. I guess we all got to pony up the rest of the money. You play. There's 4 other screamo bands that are playing. Your mom and dad are there, and your 4 friends. They watch you. They're drinking soda. No one can drink. After everyone plays, y'all got to leave. And then,
Your crush is on the side, too.
yeah.
She's crying.
And guess what? There's no parking.
You had to pay for parking too.
Yeah.
Fucking legit. This shit is stupid, dude. And like, yeah.
And you know what's the stupidest thing about it? I've done it 4 times.
Me too, dude. And you know what? The last time I did it, I was an adult. Like, I was a fucking adult. Me
Yeah.
and Adrian did it.
No, I was
He's
like,
like, don't put me on blast.
The Raw.
Oh yeah.
oh, you
That
guys,
was actually our first show.
you did raw,
We did raw.
artists, raw
Yeah.
talent, or whatever it
Yeah.
was. Where was it?
It was in Hollywood.
Was it the Hollywood Highland thing?
No,
when you
no,
were
no.
there?
It was, what the fuck was it called?
I don't know, but it's like
It's the one right there on Sunset, and it's a club. They
But it's in the Hollywood and Highland like mall, right?
no.
It's like
No.
on the 3rd floor.
No, it's a completely separate building. It's a nightclub. It's like Sunset and Cahuenga?
Ivar or Coenga or something like that.
Yeah, Cahuenga. I think-
Cherokee.
No, it's past Cahuenga.
I don't know where, but they
Mil-
rent that
Mil-
place out for events and shit.
McCadden.
Yeah. But it was this club. They shoot movies or club scenes.
Oh,
there.
wait. Was it the King?
No.
Did they do it King? And we just keep spouting them out?
Yeah,
It's
go for
Geisha
it.
House.
It was like
Was
613, something like that. No. What was it called?
Was it the Hollywood Suit
That's in
Outlet?
downtown.
Oh, it's downtown.
That's
It's lots
pump,
of some-
pancakes
yeah,
and booze.
Pancakes and booze.
Oh, you guys did pancakes and booze too?
Yeah.
Yo. First of all, that's not even a good combination of food. It's not.
That's fucking diarrhea.
And the pancakes.
Diarrhea,
Next day.
fullness, sleepy sleeps.
So we did all that shit, dude. We got to play at this big ass thing. They had a bunch of other artists there, and it's like really we're playing for the other artists and whatever other friends. And they were like, "Well, it's gonna be a packed house." I was like, "Yeah, because you overbooked like 200 artists,
Right?
You know, and you have different things, and we're doing things, and there's like chicks swinging from the ceiling and shit, and we're like, this is dope, dude. It's like Cirque du Soleil and shit. But it's like it was fucking stupid, and it was just like because we couldn't get any fucking shows.
Yeah.
And like I didn't know, dude. I mean, I'm from fucking Inland Empire.
Right.
So like out there, it's like the only places that there were to fucking play, if you were fucking lucky to get a fucking venue, it was the Showcase, which is no longer a fucking thing anymore. And that was only if you were in like a punk or psychobilly or metal band. And then you had
The Holy Trinity right there.
what's that place that you have coffee at?
Back to the grind.
Back to the Grind.
Oh yeah. Back to the Grind's cool.
It's all right.
It's all right. No, it's like Back to the Grind sucks, dude.
You know what? I was
said
just thinking of like the decor.
it
Yeah.
It looks cool.
And
in
people
there.
suck there. Like, I'm just gonna be
Yeah.
real. They fucking
They
suck.
do.
You go in there and they treat you like a piece of shit.
Yeah,
Or like elitist.
It's pretty much, right?
yeah. You get fucking judged, and
You
it's just
do.
like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm going to Menagerie. I'm just gonna dance my
I'm
life
going
away.
I'm going to Pixels.
Pixels 10. Yo, dude, but I really like getting like hit on by gay guys. Like, it just makes me feel good.
Like Dennis. Remember that one
Makes me
episode of It's
feel
Always
good.
Sunny?
Oh, damn.
Boys really out tonight. He like hands him the tip. Like,
Oh, he always takes off his shirt. What do you guys, what do you think about this?
But it's like, so there was nothing. All we had out there was fucking backyard gigs, and the majority of them, for a while, I was throwing. So
Right.
it was like I had no idea what the fuck to do. There was no venues out there at all. Like you have a Fox Theater in Riverside, you have the Fox Theater in Pomona, and all that stuff. It's like anything in the Inland Empire. If you're playing a gig in the Inland Empire, it's not going to be good, and you're not playing for people who listen to good music. And I
feel
know
like
that sounds mean, but it is what it is.
there's a as an outsider, or cousin, if you will, or whatever. I feel like it's changing, but it's still like there's like a contrast.
Yeah.
It's like polarized. You know what I mean?
It's getting better.
It is getting better.
Yeah.
So it's like I live.
Is it out there?
In the IE, I would say so because it's like I'm saying, you know, there's the people that are like, but you can tell right away. So there's like the clubby people that are bar hopping, and then there's the people that want to see music. They want to see like live music, and it's not any different like where I live. Like Long Beach is very much like that. It's like, you know, there's like, well, there's three major sides, 4. There's like ghetto, sublime, artsy, and then like clubby stuff. Yeah.
But artsy's like this
Nah,
way.
not really. It's pretty strong. People frequent stuff out there.
I mean, I still live out there. I mean, granted, I don't go out there anymore.
No, I'm
It's
talking.
yeah.
That was Long Beach. I was talking about.
Oh,
like,
Long Beach.
IE.
No, Long Beach
IE is
tight.
like
Yeah.
polarized. Like
Well,
that.
everything
Still on
everything
Sublime.
it's the same thing. Sublime, but it's like the bros.
Yeah, broski.
bros out there,
Like, you
yeah.
know, if you,
Bros-ups.
you know, yeah.
Yeah.
Keeping the cargo shorts business.
It's like their Rancho Cucamonga,
business.
like fucking lifted trucks.
They have like a Lake Havasu decal on there.
Exactly.
Like back of their truck.
Shit like
dude.
that.
Drinking Monster with their hats backwards.
Exactly.
Oakley glasses.
But you know what though? The thing about
Behind their heads.
behind their heads.
the thing about Monster is that when you drink a lot of Monster and you get those kidney stones, which is an eventuality, it doesn't hurt when you pee through your very, very, very tiny penis.
It doesn't hurt.
It has a short way to travel. So good for you.
Lord.
And then they all become cops. But that's true, dude. I'm sorry. But yeah, now out there, it was awful. So it's like me coming from out there, and then it's like what we had out here in La Puente, you know, because later on I got in bands with just people from La Puente and all that stuff. Because I mean, this is my original hometown, and then like, you know, moving out there was just shit. But I got into like, you know, bands with my cousin and our old drummer Roger and this fool and all that. And like what we had out here was we had pretty much 2 spots to play at, right? As far as I remember playing. And it was the Dog House, which later became the Social Lounge. And that place sucked dick because you were at risk of getting stabbed
Yeah.
at some point in the
It's a
night.
perk.
True story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Adrian started up his thing. It was the Lion's Den. And it was a Lions Den right here in Old Town or in downtown. It was like right there off Main.
I remember that. Like I remember hearing that. The
Yeah.
Lions Den. Yeah.
And that was cool.
You guys
I
drank
mean,
there.
but still, it was like it was always the same. Like there was 4 bands. I mean, there was a
Right.
lot of bands, but like the same 4 bands that always played together.
Yeah.
Essentially was Adrian's band. It was Arrow or Lorca Warren's at the end, and then it was my band, Alice Off Autopilot, and then it was Adrian's older brother's band, Big Brain on Brad, and then it was our buddies from Mother Echo. And it was like, those were it. And it was just like, how many shows can we fucking play
Right.
together?
Right.
Like, there's no one else, you know? And that's all there fucking was. So when Porcelain Pale started, you know, I was with another dude, and I was in the Inland Empire, and I was like, I'm not playing any shows. Fuck that shit. I'm not playing any shows out here, whatever. I'm going to try to get shows in L.A. I got 2 shows in L.A., and one of them Adrian booked us for. Straight up. It was at Lot 1,
One,
so we
that's a good
upgraded.
one.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And that was our second show, and it was our last show. Like, the band broke up that
made it.
night.
And we're done.
Straight up. I was like, I finally got to play in LA, dude. And then they're just like, we're done. I hate you. I was like, okay.
I'm gonna kill myself.
And then so starting all over, you know, it was Adrian and us and me and Roger, and we were just like, we don't know what the fuck to do. We don't know what to play, so we get into fucking pay-to-play shit. Like, because that was it. That was all we did. And I've done the pay-to-play stuff with the other bands. Dude, I played at Busby's Mile High Club once.
What?
By the fucking Staples Center, and it's the worst place. And it was a pay-to-play thing, where I sold maybe 5 tickets, and but I was at that point where I was like, look, I just need a show.
Yeah.
And they would like tell you like, oh, well, give us the money and the tickets, and you can go on. And I would just not. I would just show up and be like, here's the tickets. This is what we didn't sell. But
Wow.
And it was like, where's the rest of the money? And I was like, I don't know. Where's the rest of your crowd?
Right.
Damn.
And then we just go up and play for nobody and go home. Like, it was fucking bullshit.
Really nice stage. You had like actual
Beautiful stage,
like,
great
good
sound, all that
That's the most
Sure.
depressing statement ever.
It's pretty wild.
Played for nobody and went home.
You know what actually would be really hilarious for like a huge band to go under a fake name and do a pay to play.
Ooh, I like that.
You know what I mean? And just obviously like give the tickets away to like a select number of people. Just be like, we hid some here, there's some over here. And
No,
whatever.
because that would piss me off. Because the person
already
throwing
angry.
the person throwing that pay to play would be like, yeah, I got that band. And then they'd
Yeah,
use
maybe,
that for the next.
maybe, but I think
fucking
it'd be
suckers.
I think it'd be funny though. yeah. But I mean, that's the thing with Hollywood is like you're not gonna outsnake them.
Yeah.
It's just it's snake territory.
This
you
is
know what I
true.
mean?
That's true.
And no, I think it'd be funny because I was thinking like they'd walk in and they'd be like, oh damn it, like I don't know, like
You can't even think of any band.
they'd be like, dang, I don't know, it sounded cool when I thought about it.
In theory, right? Until you
like
start
it.
talking about it.
Yeah.
Like, this is fucking
Well,
stupid.
maybe they would be like, oh yeah, we got
Yeah,
Queens of
exactly.
the Stone Age or something.
Full blown.
That was the first name.
Yeah.
Fucking Queens.
So what do you suggest that fucking LA does?
What were we talking
Yeah. No, that is what I was gonna say because you were talking about like you don't charge people for reviews.
Yeah.
We're talking about how pay to plays suck,
Yeah.
and there's like a midway point with that. Like I had a friend, and he came over here from Australia, and he said it's a normal thing for people to bar hop, and all the places have live music. So it's probably something similar to how it is maybe like in like Nashville or like parts of Texas or whatever, where there's just like bands playing all down, a street or two or three different streets, and people will go and check out venues to hear new music, and all the bands get paid. Like I saw a picture one time of someplace like in Austin, and there was this, government issued street sign, and it said like musician loading parking only.
Oh.
And I just felt like, oh man, damn,
Came a little.
right? Yeah, a little bit.
It happens.
But he said that the whole pay to play thing was so like foreign and like weird to him, but because he was like coming from Australia, he was pretty like we were like early 20s at the time. He thought, well, I don't know, maybe it's just how it is, and he tried it
Yeah.
for a bit, but then he quickly realized like, oh, this is terrible because
Yeah.
it doesn't do anyone any good.
It just sucks.
Yeah, you get crappy bands, so no one comes back. They're not going to come back because they're not going to go through the hassle again. Even if they wanted to, they sold tickets to people that they know already.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like, yeah, if venues took your approach and were like, we're going to listen to your music and if your music is good, you can play here.
Yeah.
That would be amazing. People, it would filter out a lot of those similar sounding bands.
Well, they used to do that,
You know.
I
dude.
feel like they start off like that until they reach a certain point and they're like, you know what? We got to capitalize on this. Like, we gotta do something. And like, where was it at? I forgot where it was in LA, but there's this venue. I think I got parking tickets somewhere around there. Yeah, they used to book like really good bands, and then I just started kind of like following the person behind it, like the booker, and I was like, man, this girl's kind of a dick, right? Like she's kind of like a dick, and she doesn't really care about the artist. And I just noticed that mask being, it was just a fucking mask. It's just like, yeah, talking all this shit about the bands, and then like we're pushing it out, and I figured it out. It's like, oh, you know what? You just kind of already went into that stream. And you're just trying to see who has enough leverage so you can get. And I get it because it is a business,
It's a
just
business.
like you're
You gotta
saying.
make
But
money. Yeah.
like again, but what good does it do? Because then you got like this half-ass fucking bill, but you got the money that you set out to get. I guess
It's a bit of an investment, I would say, because there's places like when Piano Bar was. Did you ever go to Piano Bar? Yeah, and Piano Bar or Low End Theory. You know what I mean? Which is like, and I think Low End charged at the door, R.I.P. But you always knew you were gonna hear great music, and
And it was going to be a good time.
It was gonna be a good
You
time.
were going to get faded as fuck in the patio.
Yeah. And a lot of times you didn't know who was gonna show up. Like a lot of times, like Erykah Badu or like Tom York would
Tom
come and
York
just do
would
like
do
DJ
DJ
sets.
sets, dude.
That's
Oh.
so sick. You know what I mean? So I mean with them they did that. I think 10 plus years. I think they did it 13 years, if I'm not mistaken.
fact check.
And I'm sure I know it was for sure over 10, but like they probably didn't start off hot. It wasn't like, yo, yeah, we're pulling in so and so and all these dope DJs, world renowned, are coming in. But they built this scene, and then it was like untouchable. And I don't think that maybe I mean, owning a venue, starting a bar is probably a big enough endeavor
Yeah.
as it is. But it would be rad if somebody took that approach. Like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to only get quality music that I enjoy. Blue Whale was the other one I was thinking of.
Nice.
Jazz club. But like you'll never, there won't be anything that's not dope at Blue Whale. And it's insane. It's like,
I feel like
yeah.
with So Far, they were trying to do that.
mm-hmm.
They had a pretty good thing going, but now they fucking charge. And I hate that, but I'm helping out. You guys met Jake. He branched off and he's creating SGV. So now I'm kind of
Monogram
helping
just
out.
did that, didn't they?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something like that I'm a part of, or I'm trying to like help out as well, because we
Nice.
understand that it's like, dude, like let's just try to get like a legit bill, give people a chance.
Yeah.
The only thing that we do ask though is just fucking share the flyer, just. That's
Yeah.
it. On the other side of the business, because there's
But
a payout.
I thought that the So Far thing, I thought that it was like supposed to be like an anonymous show.
It's supposed to be like secret, but like for Grown to Ground, like I'm a third party because I'm always trying to find like loopholes. Like I can share, and artists can share. It's just not them. They have to keep it a secret. But like, yeah, you can fucking share if you're playing that shit, and I can share.
Well, the
But so
location's
far-
always secret, right?
Yeah, and get
okay.
the fucking email. So I feel like they
Right.
have a good thing going with kind of like bringing that together, as well as I think Treehouse LA. Have you guys heard of them?
Yeah.
So they have a pretty good thing going too. Secret shows, same thing. It's free. You can book a show there. Shout out Treehouse. So.
Sweet. Yeah, more stuff like that's really cool. I
Yeah.
like that. And I like the like one thing I do think is pretty cool about So Far is for some reason I really like to see music in like informal or not necessarily
Just
like
intimate
venues.
Yeah.
settings.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like it could, I don't know, could just be, well, yeah, like how they do it. It's like someone's living room sometimes or whatever. I like that. It's cool.
Yeah.
Kind of breaks up that monotony of people feeling like, oh, I'm at a bar, so I got to
Yeah.
drink and I got to talk while the band's playing. And
And that shit's
know?
always fucking cool too. I mean, that's why I've liked it. That's why I've always wanted to play a So Far show, just to see that, because back in the day we played the show up in I don't know, somewhere in the valley, and it was just a living room, and these kids were kind of trying to do the same thing. They started their own little collective, and like they had a house, and they were like, one of them was like an audio engineer, and the other guy was like a videographer, and they were like, this is what we're gonna do, and they would like throw little shows and do live sessions and all that
Yeah.
shit. It was dope as fuck. And we played this one night with a bunch of cool bands, and I remember like setting up everything, being like kind of nervous and shit. And I look over, and all the people, as soon as we started, they all like sat down, and I was like, "That's new." I was like, "That's really new." But they were all digging. I can see people just like vibing out to the music. I'm like, "This is fucking tight."
Yeah.
And there wasn't anybody fucking getting belligerently drunk in the fucking background. I mean, I'm sure there was, but it was like,
But it was like in that setting, it's like not cool.
yeah,
You know what I mean? So it's like that guy is now get that guy out of here.
yeah.
You know?
But
So
it
it
was
weeds
like-
a lot of that out.
They actually respected the fucking music, and I think that So Far does some cool shit like that, where they
Yeah.
actually really do respect the music.
Thanks
Yeah.
so far. Thanks for doing the
The one
service
thing
to
I
music
don't
in
like
general.
though is just the charging.
The charging.
Oh, don't charge people though.
Yeah, because it started off for free. Because that's how I started with So Far, like maybe a couple years ago when I would go over there. It was fucking free, and that was the best thing. You're going to a free show. You have no idea who's gonna play, and they're all amazing.
Yeah.
And that was really exciting. So I just feel like they have to. Y'all gotta don't charge that much.
Yeah.
But still, it's like, how do you make money at that point?
Well, I
Yeah.
want to
True.
say something about that too, because like when you were talking about music reviews, and you go in blind, you know, music. And I make this comparison all the time, but like music, in a lot of the ways, is like really similar to food, because
That diet's hitting you hard.
yeah, it's
huh,
just
man?
yeah, it is. I'm just like, oh,
Jesus.
I remember
This guy
bread.
went keto vegan, and all of a sudden everything's about food.
Remember bread?
Yeah,
Warm,
Dude, you
delicious
talked about a
bread,
fucking buffet already. Like,
fucking butter.
butter. Oh god,
Butter's
Beer.
good, huh?
I love butter.
I know. Go back to what you were saying.
Okay, basically, you know, you wouldn't eat food that doesn't taste good. That's like the main factor. You know, it has to taste good and it has to like nourish you. And music's not any different from that. It's like it doesn't, because I know
That's not entirely
as we all hold on,
okay.
bitch.
People listen to a lot of shitty music, dude.
But it's taste. It's taste, right? It does something for them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it is different from food in that sense, because you know you might
Somebody can tell
hear
me
it and be
that.
like, ugh, it's gross.
Somebody can tell me that they wiped their ass, missed a little bit, got on the finger, and decided to give it a little fucking taste test, and it tasted all right. But
That was
I'm not
way
gonna buy it.
too specific.
Yeah.
Look, bro.
And then kind of figured out I shouldn't had that to eat, you know? Yeah.
Well, you think it's like I really enjoyed my meal. What does it taste like coming
A
out?
second time.
Because it's like if
I think I'd like to try it.
if I'm gonna
a
vomit,
second time.
you know, like when you puke up food, sometimes you're like, oh, but you're like, damn, but it tasted like that burrito. The burrito's tight.
Can I
You
go
think
back there again?
Shit tastes the same. It does not.
Just make sure you mark the time so you know where to cut it out. Of the... No,
What
I
were
was
you
just-
trying to
okay,
explain?
if the music doesn't slap, if it's not good music, you know what I mean? Like if it doesn't, you should hear it and be like, this is amazing. This is so good. I want to listen to this over and over and over again because how good it sounds. You know, the vocals are tight, whatever. It's just like, it's good music, right? That's like the main thing throughout like all of this. Like it doesn't, you know what? Don't do pay to plays, and maybe you want to send your music to get reviewed or not. But like as a musician, your job is to make good music. Like just make your music well.
Yeah.
Even if you're the 157th psych rock band in the IE, be the best one. Like do it really good. Like that's the one
Do
thing
it
that
different.
just do it well. Honestly,
I would
just
say
do it well.
just be yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that's so cliche, but just be your fucking self
Seriously.
because somebody they can pick up on that. It's like, dude, that's not your style. Like, come
Yeah.
on, just be yourself.
And that's what I was gonna say about like
Better
you know,
piece of advice is, hey, figure out who you are before you start writing music.
But sometimes that's the whole process because people
Oh
change.
no, so
They
okay,
gotta
start
figure it out.
releasing music
okay, fair.
Or kill yourself.
or kill yourself, please. No, I was like- no, don't.
Edit that out too. No, I was kidding.
No, I'm leaving that in. You need to know you're hurting. You're hurting everyone with your stupid dreams. I'm just
dare
kidding.
you.
So mean.
Dreaming.
No, but it's like, yeah, it's because here's the thing. It's like, I remember, I mean, I've done it too, right? I mean, we all grow up in a scene, you know, whatever's around, it's like, I'm going to be in this kind of band. I'm going to be in a screamo band. I'm going to be in a ska band.
Before you even think about it.
Before you even think about it. So, you know, you've done that, but don't keep doing that, you know, and you're not allowed to do that when you're in your 20s. You're allowed to do that when you're in high school.
What, to play brand new covers or something?
Exactly.
That was specific too. You're
Yeah,
like,
it
I'm
was,
just,
but,
I'm just saying, you know.
yeah. Because
Last album was pretty good.
yeah.
I don't know. I feel like none of these people left high school.
That's
far as that
true. That's
mentality
true in a lot
goes.
of ways, more so than just music, you know. And I don't know, perspective is a big thing. It'll tell you that, like, oh wow, I've been living the same year like over and over again.
It's also where you're
I've
at
been
in
listening-
life.
Yeah,
So, I mean, that's a big reflection. Like, I don't know if you've ever listened to an album. You're like, man, I didn't give this a shot maybe like 10 years ago. And then you pick it up and you're like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
So you've grown. Now you have a different perspective. You can appreciate that different. Same thing with musicians when they're making their shit.
mm-hmm.
So.
It's true. Because
Yeah.
I don't know, a lot of times I'll listen back on stuff when I like didn't know really anything about like music theory or anything like that, and you're totally just driven by what you want to hear.
Mm-hmm.
And for a lot of musicians that start to learn theory, you lose a lot of that because you start to, you know, get all these like rules and different rules, and you're like, oh well, it's not in this key or whatever.
Yeah.
And you lose that thing I was talking about where it's just like, you know, if it sounds good and it's doing something for you, that's the only thing. And it doesn't matter, you know, like it just has to have heart.
Yeah.
And if your heart's not in it, then yeah, you're pandering or you're playing to the crowd. You're trying to do what's popular to fit in. And then you become that person that's like an elitist. And then 2 years later, they're like married and they don't even make music anymore because your heart was never in it to begin with. It was just, I was just in this for the fashion kind of thing.
But isn't that for any kind of art? Like you gotta have it in, like, for example, like for writing. I mean, I know that I sucked like horribly in the beginning, but I leave those posts up there so somebody can see like, yeah, man, she sucked, but I've come a long way.
I respect that.
Yeah. Because I also was trying to figure out, oh, there's these rules. I got to put this. I got to write it like this. I can't use this word. And then I just said, fuck it. You know, let me just write how I feel about it. That's pretty much what happened.
Yeah, and that's why you're where you are now, because it's just, you know, honest opinion. This is what I think. This is how I feel.
I feel like I'm still stuck though. I don't know.
What do you mean?
So distracted.
No, why are you
I
stuck?
feel like I'm still just stuck. Like a lot of people are like, man, like you've come a long way, and I can appreciate that. But I just feel like I'm not where I want to be, and maybe I'm just like my own worst critic.
Well, I mean, but I think that's a great place to be. Like that's the hardest place to be because you get kind of bummed out, super fucking depressed. You're just like, well, where the fuck am I going? It's like, okay, yeah, I did this, I did all that, but it's like this isn't anywhere where I thought I was going to be by now or where I want to be. And then at the same time, where the fuck do I want to be and how the fuck do I get there? You know, but it's like thinking about that, being in that kind of point where you feel stuck. It's like, oh, cool. It's good that you're stuck because now you know that there's another tier to move to, you know, and you're going to kill yourself. No,
Yeah, that's after.
You're going to kill
It's a
yourself.
given, right?
Well, you wouldn't.
You're going to kill yourself trying to get to that next fucking
You wouldn't know you're stuck if you're not trying to move.
Yeah.
Ooh, I've never heard that before. I like that.
Hey,
Bitch.
look at that.
Right?
Off the dome.
That fucking jacket.
You know.
It's a
Yeah, this
jacket.
is my jacket.
But let's talk about it. Like, honestly, like,
Like I felt you were trying to go. I'm like,
No,
just go
this is
somewhere.
like, I feel like
let's go with that.
What?
just one second,
Okay,
because we're just it's like,
You're
Your
looking.
jacket?
We're putting your jacket.
no, I was just gonna say that like anytime I put this jacket on, anytime I put this on, I'll just be like, yeah, dude, I could totally be like that guy that's like half black in a movie.
Oh my Lord.
Like if it was like War of the Worlds and I like showed up like just like going down, or it's like, you know, season premiere of like Handmaid's Tale, and I come in, I'm like, Janette, come on, we gotta go. You're like, oh, fuck.
Where'd you get that
It's
at?
just got interracial, dude. That's fucking tight, dude. Like it's gonna, yeah, let's watch it.
He's that leading man of color. I
Mhm,
like it.
Yeah. He's like black but non-threatening. That's cool. Just the kind of beta male we need in this society.
You're like a young half Mexican Idris Elba in that jacket.
Yes,
All right.
that's tight.
All right. But okay. Now I want to get to something like because what you said, like if you're down, I want to explore this a little bit because if you can leave today and we didn't just talk about bullshit and we actually figured some shit out, that'd be tight. So it's like,
You're being a negative Nancy right now.
Right?
oh, sorry. No,
Just a little bit.
I'm
Some good
having a
bullshit.
great time. I'm having a great time. I'm just saying. Okay, so where do you want to be?
Ooh, where do I want to be? I feel like I'm getting fucking interviewed for a job. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Why do you want this job?
Right? I want to be at a place where you know, that's really hard because if I say something, then that's going to be like the Holy Grail and I'm going to hold myself to it. I don't know where I'm going to be at and I don't know where I want to go. I just know what I love doing, that I want to pursue this to the next level. I don't know, but I'm just going to keep going until, who knows, until I really kill myself. I don't know. But I want it to do with music. I want to do it with writing. I've had many opportunities to go with different publications and just kind of be like a staff writer, which is great. But I wanted to start something of my own, and there is such a great sense of pride. It's like my baby.
Yeah.
And in the beginning, I didn't separate the two, and now I can say, okay, I am Janette, and then this is Girl Underground. In the beginning, I was Girl Underground. Like, that was my persona, that was my name, and it killed me. And that was one part of my depression. And then I left for a while, and then I came back. So I really can't answer that completely because I want to go everywhere. You know, I want to do everything. So
I see you playing drums again for some reason.
for sure.
Like I could see you like being in. Are you in a band right now?
With my nephew when I post up those clips.
Oh, yeah,
right.
yeah,
Let's
yeah,
take
that was
it.
that,
I was like, come on, cheesy.
Frustrated.
Come on. I know, dude. I'm gonna make a demo off of that kit.
You should
I think I should. It's like 4
like
toms.
sample like anytime he hits the drums.
99-cent store.
It's a come up.
$5. Like, I'm a little torn. The 99-cent
$5
store is.
99.
Yeah, exactly. But
It's misleading.
it's fucking.
But you got
little
$5
kit.
worth of fun out of it,
Exactly.
and maybe that'll be the catalyst.
And a fucking little splash symbol. Like,
Yeah.
that's a splash. I was like, so
Let me ask you this.
go for it.
Because, I mean, where you're at right now, I mean, just what you've accomplished is fucking amazing. And I think a lot of people don't really have the balls to get there most of the time. You know,
I don't
like,
have
I want to do
balls.
that. You know,
That's the secret.
You have,
I didn't want it to be talked
your
about now.
soul has balls. And they're not,
Why can't my soul just have a vagina?
I'm not saying, they're not actual balls. They're not male balls.
They're not male balls.
You know, we all have balls. You have ovaries. You call them ovaries. We call them balls.
All right.
It's the same thing.
My ovaries.
Your ovaries are strong as fuck.
Thank you.
All right.
It's the greatest compliment.
So it's like, I'm just saying, like, people just don't got the ganas. All right. There you go.
What's ganas? Besides
Fool,
the country.
watch, stand, and deliver. I don't know how many
Oh, okay.
times I got to tell you this shit.
That's all you need to know. Yep.
Okay.
Don't watch that cholo shit. No, I'm sorry. A bunch of cholos learn how to do calculus and they never made anything of themselves after.
You're being inspired to play pool.
No, so it's like, where were you, first of all, that you know you don't ever want to get back there?
Ooh, that's a good one. I'm going to back it up maybe more than 10 years ago. I was in a state of this horrible anger. So I was still trying to get over the fact that we were homeless. I was still trying to get over the fact of everything I was doing. And I was trying to escape. So there was a chance for me to move to San Francisco with an ex at a time. And I said, yeah, I'm gonna fucking do. I'm just gonna escape. I'm gonna be a little bitch and I'm just gonna leave. And that's what I see myself looking back at that time and that moment in my life. I just wanted to escape. And I never went out to go do what I wanted to do. I ended up getting stuck at a fucking job, working to just pay the rent. And then the asshole that I was with cheating on me left and right. You know that asshole. And just left me with the bills. And I had to fucking do everything. And I said, I don't want to be here. I don't like myself. I need to go back and I need to find myself. And I know it's really cliche, but
No, it's important.
I left with the cats that I found in a dumpster. And I went back home, sleeping on a couch, trying to figure out, fuck, I gotta start all over, all fucking again, right? And then I did it. And then something else happened. I was like, fuck, I gotta start all over again. And then I realized, at least I have the opportunity to start over.
True.
Yeah.
So, like, for the last 2 years, you know, my license was suspended. And then I had to figure out this. I was working at a sex shop randomly. Nobody knew this, not even my family. And I would come home and it's like, I have dildos in my bag because they told me, you know, to try it out because that's the best review.
They
Again,
can-
I'm always
what?
reviewing. Yes, I'm always reviewing products for my customers.
That's very saucy.
And it's just like, I have a whole
surprising.
bunch of fucking dildos in here and like lube. And I just started like passing them out to people. It's like, do you want some lube? It's like, why do you got so much lube in your purse? It's like, isn't this normal? Like, you got gum, you got lube, you know?
Dildos.
So, right, just like passing them out, making it rain. And, but again, I wouldn't trade that in for anything because that was in the process of me just figuring out who I was. So I never want to be that person that was angry again. I never want to be the person that was trying to get somebody's attention. So that's why when I go to shows, I'm chill in the back. Like, I don't want to be up in the front. I don't want to, I've already done that. I'm cool just chilling. And I like that. I have nothing to prove. So I think I never want to be in a state where I have to prove myself ever again. Just myself. That's the only person.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Fuck
That's
yeah.
I like that.
I think I can still get a discount if you guys want dildos or anything.
Dude,
but because funny,
please.
right?
What's the
My butt hungers.
why isn't there like the male one has like a different name, doesn't it? Like, you remember that? Do you ever watch Broad City?
No.
So when a woman puts on it's called pegging,
Yeah.
but then like the thing is called like
I call it Friday.
anyways, it had like a name. It was like a
I didn't know that.
yeah.
Yeah, pegging.
No, like
You
the
guys want to
actual
go
like
through some gnarly
device.
No, I'm not gonna. Oh yeah, I'll teach you guys about pegging, sounding, docking.
Oh my god, the first time somebody told me about docking. Oh my god. I just said, what's docking? I'm
Right.
interested. Pull it up. Holy shit. Is it talking? Like that?
Yeah.
Fuck.
It's
yeah.
dope.
That's.
It's not dope. It's weird.
What?
Who says that? No. Ill.
Because it sounds so generic and like just normal. But
Max, you
Yeah.
and me. Later, buddy.
I don't know.
We're gonna dock. We're gonna dock like
Yeah, first you gotta play swords and you gotta dock.
I can't play swords.
Oh, wait.
It'd be like playing swords where he has a sword and I have a dagger. So it's like we're just gonna miss
That's
every
not a
time. Exactly. Anyways,
Fuck.
so
Or it could be like, well, you don't like Star Wars, but I'll just be like, come to the dark side.
nice.
See what you did there?
Nice. Anyways,
We've
So, but
accomplished
docking's
nothing.
when you put your foreskin in another dude's foreskin, right? Is that what it
no,
is?
it's
When
like
you put.
it
you
only
put-
requires one person to have foreskin, really.
Yeah,
It's
that's
like a
true.
finger torture trap type deal.
Exactly. It's like it's a little fucking.
That's what it is.
I picture
It creates a little air pocket, right? You pull it up over the other dude's head, and you guys just kind of like
scientific air pocket. I didn't
just
think about that.
mush heads for a little bit until one of you guys.
The the elusive male queef. I just wanted to say that.
Dick barf.
That kind
Anyway,
of happens.
Queef. It's a
Yeah.
funny
Queef
name.
is a funny. Yeah, it's, it's
funny
funny.
word. I would say.
Mhm.
so to get back to the topic, because we were on a really good topic before we started
I-
getting on dildos.
I didn't even start that one this time.
Yeah,
I
that
didn't
was,
derail
this
at
was your
all.
fault. This is actually your fault.
My bad.
No,
No, I don't. No.
I don't
I'm
apologize.
okay with that. No, fuck that.
Okay, so
Dildos.
it's really. I mean, I think it's fucking great that you did all that and you realized all these things. That you were angry. You didn't want to do all these things. You don't have anything to prove to anyone but yourself now,
Yeah,
which is great. Do you talk to yourself?
of course.
Okay. Do you ever like look in the mirror and just like?
I'm good enough.
You got this.
I'm smart enough.
Got this.
No-
Maybe like the first time when this is weird. Like I said, like through my depression and shit, and, like sleeping on the fucking couch. I stopped just like plucking my eyebrows, right? And I used to pluck my eyebrows. I used to fucking do all that shit. And there's like this one moment I was like in the mirror and I'm just like, fuck, like you're fucking hairy. Like you gotta fucking, you gotta trim that shit. And that's when I was talking to myself. And then after I was like, no, you know what? I like myself, and that was like the last conversation that I had. I was like, Julieta Venegas, like I'm gonna rock these. I'm gonna keep these. So yeah, and I got bangs. So who fucking cares?
Fuck it.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
That was my last conversation with
Because,
myself.
Yeah.
Well, we've talked
good.
about it. It's like when we're in that, or me, when I'm in that like depressive state, like I know I'm depressed because I'm fucking up,
Yeah.
and that's the thing is like you gotta fucking straight up, dude. It doesn't matter if you have a fucking asshole in your life, if you have someone else bringing you down in your life, dude. They're pieces of shit, and there's no excuse for that shit. But it's your fault for letting them in.
Yeah.
Straight
Or
the fuck
keeping
up.
'em.
Or keeping them.
Yeah.
Because you can drop them. You can drop them like fourth period French, but you don't, and that's your fault. But when it's you, I mean, you can't drop yourself. You like to sometimes.
Yeah.
But like, I get bummed out because I'm like, I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I have to avoid mirrors. I have to avoid the fuck out of them.
Are
Legit.
you being
Like,
serious?
yeah, like because I'll look and if I catch a glimpse, like it's like I'll see me and it's like I'm walking by, but I know the look on my face, like we gotta talk.
So you're avoiding
You are
yourself?
fucking up. I'm avoiding myself completely. I'd rather just continue on the self-destructive path because the second I have to look at myself and realize, like, dude, you look like a fat zombie. Like, what's wrong with you? You haven't slept in 37 hours, and you're like,
37. That's interesting. Usually people say 36.
I know. I
Right?
was gonna say
37. Right?
I know that I stayed up, I think like 48 hours one time. Well, anyways, the point is you do hallucinate. That's what I was getting.
Yeah.
at.
Oh,
But,
yeah.
which is cool.
It's cool at first, and then you're like, why? What?
You look horrible.
Yeah. And you see yourself, you're just like, don't do that shit. Don't do that shit. Oh, this is what a relapse looks like. But,
Damn.
but it's cool for you, like, to have just been like, no, fuck that. I'm going to get my shit together. I'm going to do all this stuff. So now it's just really figuring out what the fuck you want to do and, like, or exactly where you want to go with it.
Yeah. I just want to kind of build this as big as I possibly can. Get the best people. I don't want to ever stray away from my values. I don't ever want to, accept money for a post. I don't ever want to put something else because I got somebody in my ear. And
You
this
gotta
does
review
happen.
this, you got to review that.
With publicists. It's like, hey, I can get you into this show. Can you push out this artist? And it's like, I don't really want to do that. So I've gotten so much shit from like other writers because they're like on these publications and they just fucking copy and paste what's in the press release. I'm writing fucking 350 words. But you're getting paid for that. You're getting views. You're getting fucking everything. You've written 2 fucking sentences. I'm over here trying to analyze and which chord was that? And oh, that's really interesting. And let's go into the genres. And I'm like, fuck, I'm busting my balls. And so I'm always thinking, oh, my ovaries.
Ovaries.
Like maybe I should charge. And then I'm just like, no. So that is something that I just never want to fall into. Doesn't matter where I'm going. I don't want to lose those values.
That's fantastic. That's terrible that that's the norm with some of those bigger entities. Because I know Pitchfork gets a lot of crap for, you know, they'll say like, oh, why did Kanye West wear these slides that were like too small at so-and-so's wedding? And it's just like gossip
Who
column
fucking
stuff.
cares?
You're right. Right. You know what I mean? It's not even, and they probably even still got paid to talk about that kind of stuff. And it's like, you sort of lose why you became a trusted source for music.
Definitely. I mean, I'm not saying like all publicists are like that. Like I'll keep a couple close to me. But maybe that's why I'm not really out there. And I've gotten from like one writer, he told me like you're not gonna make it. Like this is how the game is. And I was like, nope, I'm not gonna play this game. Like that was really hurtful. Going to shows and people from it was Viva Pomona. It was it was a cousin from someone from LA Weekly when they were like legit came up to me and I was trying to like my first coverage show at Glass House, I got press passes. I'm trying to get in the shot and I've asked the band to kind of like, form and people are creeping up on my shot. Like they all went in for it and they're like pushing me and I'm like, what the fuck? And it's like, oh, you're never going to make it in here if you're going to be like that. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like I'm just here to fucking cover a band.
Right.
And then it goes into that whole thing of like, well, you're the only fucking female here. Like now they can punk you. And then that's when I kind of lose it.
And you're like, fuck that.
And I said, let's go outside, motherfucker. And then, let's handle this. And then it's like, I got to control myself because sometimes I will just like say, fuck you.
We should.
Yeah.
Especially if that's going to be there. I mean, that's like bully mentality. That's whack.
Yeah, no, dude, you fucking stick up for that shit. And that's why everyone's like, well, avoid confrontation at all costs. Like, dude, you fucking talk to me wrong, I'm gonna fucking smack you.
Sometimes you just have to like what you're saying, like if people are in your life that you don't want them, cut them out. Like people treat you the way that you draw that line. Like, if they step over it, whatever, you can't have it blurred. And that's something also that I've learned the hard way. People using me, people that were, like my friends within the music scene and just fucking use me. And it's just like, really, dude?
Like, don't get it
come
twisted.
on. Yeah. It's like, well, I don't fuck with you anymore.
Exactly. Yeah, it puts people in a category, for sure.
Then you gotta blast them.
Well, no.
I hope that more of the right people watch this because it would be rad if more people had that mentality. Or I don't know if there are platforms that are doing that, but it seems like that's kind of akin to like the whole pay to play thing, but on the other like side of it.
Yeah.
It's like, it's all phony.
Yeah.
It's just like, okay, you're paying to get reviewed. They're not even writing a review. It's not even a real interaction.
And anything that is on there, I've seen like publications or when people are, being premiered. I'm like, I got that same press release. They just copied and pasted that. And I'm like, y'all didn't write that. Like, you literally just took what the publicist said.
So they paid them to push their press release that they wrote.
Yeah. And then that's it. It's like, well, we're premiering it. And then they kind of use the angle. It's like, well, we got this traffic. We got this for it. And it's like, but your work still fucking sucks, though.
Right.
And that is something that I want to stray away from blog to journalist. Like, those are two in my head. They are different. And
so you're saying you want to go more
the journalist side, yeah.
Journalist route.
So I want to
Which is
actually
better.
have stories.
Yeah.
Actually analyze the music. Musicians put a lot into it. Give them the same courtesy back when you're reviewing it.
And that word still has integrity. Like when I hear the word journalist, it does inspire somebody who's like a detective almost. They're like digging, trying to figure out like, or what's like the angles of it.
Yeah.
They're trying to get the whole story, the complete picture. And then, people are going to listen to what you say as a result of that. It's like we've talked about like Nardwuar before, like how that guy, he just like learns everything about.
He's so weird.
Yeah, but it's like.
But he's cool.
Yeah. Did you post that? It was like a meme of him where it said like, if this guy, if you go to court with this guy, you're gonna lose.
I don't know.
Cause,
sounds like me.
Well, but he does that though. Like he does like the digging and he finds out like cool things about, about bands and stuff.
Yeah. Fucking weird.
I think it's sad though. I mean, I think that's more important to go to the journalistic route because you're actually learning something. It's not just, oh, this album was good. This
Feel
track
good hit of
was
the summer.
good.
Check it out.
It's like,
Yeah.
because I hate that more than fucking anything. I mean, I like when people describe the music if they really gave it a listen, and I like when they express their emotions about what the tracks made them feel. And I think that that's beautiful, but at the same time, it's like you didn't tell me anything about the band. But then there's also the argument, like some people will also say it's like back in the day, you didn't know shit about the artist, you just knew the music. The music spoke for itself, and it's like, yeah, that's cool, dude. But at the same time, there's a lot of pedophiles out here now, and there's a lot of #MeToo fools. I kind of want to know who the fuck I'm listening to.
Like the shit they just happened with the Orwells.
Oh yeah, they broke up, right?
Yeah, they broke up
Well,
because
was it because of that?
Huh?
Something like that. Well, go ahead.
Yeah, no, they broke up because I think it was the lead singer, a couple of them, fucking charged for sexual allegations with minors, just like a lot of shit. And they just like their tweet was just like, we've disbanded. Like they didn't even have the decency to say like, sorry, release a statement. It's like, yeah, we're over.
The Orwells have disbanded. I just that was the only thing I know about him. And I was like, oh wow, I don't know how I should feel about it.
Yeah.
But I think the positive side of the journalistic stuff is that like for people who are like aspiring musicians and stuff, like we all look at these people like we forget that our heroes are people.
Yeah.
We forget that, people go through shit. It's like, Adrian and I, we fucking are in love with Tom York. And it's like, he's an alien. He's this magic alien. And it's like, this guy has a real life. Like, his ex-wife passed away. He has kids. He has all these things. He's like, and you don't know shit about Tom York.
Yeah.
You really don't. And I think it's cool. I mean, if he wants to fucking be private, that's cool. It makes him all mysterious and cool. But for the most part, it's like, it's nice to be able to get a sense of who this band is because it's like, hey, I feel that way too. And it's kind of like, it helps you realize that you are a fucking person and you're a person trying to like do all this stuff. So the journalistic aspect is like the most important part of music. If not, I mean, other than the actual music itself,
Yeah.
but it's like.
Then there's like a double-edged sword though, because then I've gotten like, you fucking write too much. I don't want to read it. People don't read it. You have to adapt yourself to what is in. Like I've gotten that so many times. And I'm like, well, maybe I should cut it down. And I was like, no. So I've gone through that because there is the other aspect of it, which I get. Reading's not for everybody. But
Should be. Read, you stupid motherfuckers.
But I think of it like also as my portfolio as a writer. Like if I'm going to present this to anybody, go read my shit. Like I'm going to be proud of it. I don't want to be like, yeah, I just wrote 2 sentences, and that's it.
Yeah.
Nah.
It's like, fool, this is an article. This isn't a Twitter post.
Right. Right.
But unfortunately, that's the unfortunate thing is that everything is like everyone's fucking attention span.
Yes.
It's fucking bullshit, dude. It's to the point I'm seeing on Facebook shit where it's like I get these articles and it tells you how long it'll take you to read it.
Oh,
It's a 3-minute read.
Oh yeah.
Just read it.
Yeah.
It's a 3-minute read, and I find myself guilty, like 15-minute read,
Right.
and it's like, dude, I'm on the toilet. I have 15 minutes. Like, I could read this shit, you know. But it's like all this stuff. It's like they have to tell you now. It doesn't take that long. Just read it. It's only 3 minutes of your life. It's like it's almost like begging for someone to read. It's like fucking read.
Yeah.
You know what? This is the thing for me is like, I don't care so much about the length of the article as much as I care about like the style.
The style and the
You know
content.
what I mean? Yeah, because if it's like there's certain writers and not just music, but just different things, and they kind of like, they insert themselves into like the article too much. Like they'll say like, "Well, I didn't like it," or it's just like it's way too. There's times where it needs to be more descriptive, but sometimes it'll be like it's wordy just for the sake of being wordy.
Oh, to feeling like the character count.
Yeah, that or you know how some people, I forget what the terms for this is, but there are certain people and they'll tell you a story in like a linear way, and then other people they say it's like a spider web or it's like a leaf or something like that. So they'll say, "Oh, you know, I went there. Oh, you know what? I think it was 3 p.m. And you know what? I just remembered because my sister called me at that." And that's how they tell the story. So it goes, but it goes off all these little branches, and like there's times where there's a time and a place for both, basically. You know, sometimes you just want to like read an account of what happened. Boom. But then other times it's like interesting to hear all these other things. But there's a lot of articles like that too, where it's just like, or they try to sound too trendy.
Yeah.
Like they try to like,
Use those words.
yeah, you know what I mean? It's just, yeah, right.
Oh God, yeah. Go on.
But yeah, but you mean like if it's warranted or if it's funny or whatever, but I don't know. Maybe that's something on the editing side of things, I guess.
Yeah, or like
you know.
whatever voice. Like you always have to think about, well, what voice do I want to, throw out there?
What's the narrative here?
Exactly.
And
And it's like, well, let's sprinkle those words in. And it's like, nah, just no.
Yeah.
It's like I get if you had your fucking thesaurus up.
Source.com.
You're like, down the street. What's a good better word for down?
Or it's like a BuzzFeed article, and it starts off with like, "Girl, you're not gonna believe it," and I'm just like,
Yeah.
just write the article, like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't address me as girl. You
Yeah.
don't know me. How
Seriously.
dare you?
yeah. But
Who
they're
the
also,
fuck do you think you are?
but they're not doing that just because they have like female readers. They're doing it because it's like, oh, we got the
in.
gossip, we got like,
They're
that,
trying to
you know.
be personal. To be like, this
Yeah.
is just like our little fucking secret.
Yeah.
I hate that. Yeah. But like you said, time and place.
Yeah, for sure. 'Cause, you know, sometimes it's cool, sometimes it's funny.
What is it about doing this entire thing? Like, what is your favorite aspect of all this writing stuff? Because I love writing too. I can't write articles. I can't write. I like fiction, like too much, but because I live in my own head. But
Good.
like, what is your like? What's your everything about? Because you said you love writing. Clearly, you love writing. You want to be great at it. You are great at it. You want to be
Yeah.
top tier. But it's like, what is it about the writing that makes you even want to pursue it, even despite all the hardship?
Damn. Right? That's the answer. Damn. I would say it's a side that isn't shown. So everything, any type of work is a clear reflection of the artist. Listen to music, listen to anything that they write, even their humor. You can find a lot about that person, and that is the way that they subconsciously sometimes or consciously, show that. And I think I get a great pleasure about writing because there is a certain aspect that isn't shown, and that is the only way that it's visible. To myself, I can figure it out. Like I can go back to any article, even if it's just a review, and I can figure out where I was, what time, because I've hidden like little nuggets in there that I know that sometimes it's indirect, towards somebody. I'm just like, man, fucking bitch, and I'm putting that in there, but that is just my style. So with anything, because I write a lot of poetry, I write a lot of short stories on the side. Don't share it, but I just write it because that's just my way of being and showcasing a different aspect of myself.
Yeah, that's cool. And I think it, like stuff like that, it helps you figure everything out. Like I have friends who've been bummed out, and I know they like writing stuff, but they never really made an attempt to do anything. I'm just like one of my friends. I won't name who, but they were going through a really hard time, and I felt really bad that they were going through this, and I didn't know how to help them. You know, it was like you're describing, you want to help them out, you're trying to give them advice, but you know at the same time they're not hearing it because of where they're at. So I went and I bought him a notepad and a pen, and I was like, just write everything. Just write down everything that you're fucking feeling, everything you're going through. Like, whatever, dude. It doesn't even matter. It's not even just like, you know, don't try to make it wordy or anything. Just write thoughts.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to have any structure. Don't create a narrative. Just write it all, and then go back and read it and see how much of a pussy you sound like. Because it really helps.
It was like so inspirational right there.
No, but it's like, because like I did that. You know, I remember, and this is going to go dark and a little whatever, but I was writing a suicide note a few years back. And I was like bummed out, and I was like, I guess this is how you do it. So I'm gonna leave a note because I'm theatrical and dramatic. So I fucking went and I was writing my suicide note, and I went back and I was reading it, and I'm crying. You know, I'm like sobbing my eyes out as this is happening. Like, I'm ready, and I went back and I started reading it, and I started cracking up. I was like, you fucking pansy, dude. Like, what? Really? And, like, you had to, like, write it that way? And what I ended up doing is that, like, it was the biggest sob story in the fucking world of just fucking poor me. And I was able to see it, and I, like, ended up taking this entire, like, monologue of how shitty my life is and how much I want to die. And I condensed it a little bit, and I made it to where it was a short story about a door-to-door salesman. He's like, if I don't sell this, like, I'm done. And this is the sob story he gives to the person who opened the door unexpectedly. And it wasn't a particularly good story or anything like that, but I was like, this is catharsis.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what that is.
Kind of like Kafka-esque in a way, too, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was like, yeah, this whole thing where it was just like, oh, I learned so much about myself, and then I turned into something fucking productive.
Yeah.
You know? So it's like, it's dope.
I
Right?
I just said that the other day because, like, I don't know, it's like probably like a chemical thing because I wasn't like, there wasn't anything particularly bad happening. But, you know, you just wake up some days and you're like, oh, like, I'm bummed today. Like, man. And then, like, I went to Daiso and I found, like, these, and they're, like, the perfect, like if I asked you to imagine like what wind up teeth look like, that's what they look like. And then like I stuck it in my mouth like it was my teeth, and I like recorded myself while I was going like clack, 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 right? And then I had this thought. I was like, you're bummed out, and then something really random brings you back into this happy mood, and then you're cracking up, but then you're like, damn, which one's the real me though?
Both.
Yes, both.
Both.
Exactly,
But
yeah,
that's what's fucking tight. As I always feel like there's two sides of a person. Like, I've probably made it an unhealthy part of my identity where it's like, legitimately, I have to see it as there's three people in my head. There's the angry, depressed, wants the world to burn and all this shit guy.
I like that person. Go on.
I like that person too. He's awesome. And I'll say what, but it's like, and then there's the fucking guy who's like, it's all right, everything's good, you're not gonna die, everything's fine, we're gonna fucking, I know how to figure this out, we're good. And then there's the person who's here with the tug of war who has to act on these guys' thoughts, right? So, and like I distinguish like, oh, well, the angry person, the angry, sad, depressed, worried as fuck, scared person, little child like guy. This guy, I mean, he fucks everything up, but it's his trust issues that have taken me as far as I've gone. You know, it's the fact that he's been fucked over and all this stuff, and he has all this anger that I don't let nobody fuck me over anymore. But then you have this other guy, and it's all this stuff. But like with what you were saying is like, which one's the real me? It's like they both are because they have to cancel each other out. And what you have to do is try to work in unison with them.
It's a balance. It's a balance with anything.
It's true.
You have to be able to see, like, in everything good, there's a little bit of evil. Like, let's just be, like, realist and vice versa. You know, if there's anything bad, there's a little bit of good in that. It's just like that balance.
Yeah. It's tight.
Like, did you know about pine cones?
What about pine cones?
So they grow over like a really, really like long period of time, but they react to heat. So for instance, if there's a forest fire, the heat from the fire will cause the pine cone to open more quickly and therefore like sprout into new trees more quickly. And then the ground,
That's beautiful.
the ground from the fire is more fertile.
So what you're telling me is I should start a fire?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Just want to make sure I got that. Let's stick a pine cone in a microwave. Too.
I need a female perspective here because one of my buddies was talking to me about this, and he's like, "Okay, first date, right? What's a better first date? Dinner and a movie, or take a girl to an arson?"
Dude, arson will really bring out the girl's eyes. Like, you get, like, all of those, like, cracks, and it's just like, damn, girl. And then, like, she'll feel better. It's like, man, you know what? Thanks. So, and then you guys can talk about it and have a good story, you know, when you're running away because, you know, you're going to hear the sirens.
Exactly.
It's a good workout.
Yeah.
It really is. But you don't want to, like, throw that in there because then she's going to be like, fucking, do I need a workout?
Right.
You know, because
But
I'd say that.
And even still, it's like how I look at it. It's like you can go do dinner and a movie where you're not going to talk to her through the movie. You're not going to get to know her.
You're just going to fucking eat.
Exactly. You're going to eat, stare awkwardly, and then be quiet for an hour and a half. And then
be like, oh, is this person going to make a move? And
Exactly.
am I going to eat too loud? And it's just like you want to just shove all the food in your mouth. And that's
you
why
take her
you don't
to-
get a second date.
Exactly. But you take her to
So
an
inspired.
arson. She's like, this is really tight.
unique.
Like, this is unique. This is like, I could tell people if we end up together, our first date is we went to an arson.
Yeah.
That's cool.
But went
And
to or started?
went to, not started.
Okay.
Like, there was just a house on fire. Like, let's go check out the house on fire.
Oh, okay, that's
You know?
romantic.
It's romantic,
okay.
right?
I mean, I would still like, you know, just starting it because I'm like, okay, this guy like
Yes.
means business. Like
Yeah.
he's starting it. I like that, you know? I do. Like, take initiative.
And if it goes bad, you could just toss your date in the fire.
Man, I like that you recycle.
Yeah.
I'm big on recycling. So it's awesome.
Well, I enjoyed talking to you.
Same.
I think that we should talk more about other stuff. I think we should do another event.
Yeah,
For
most
sure.
definitely. That'd be cool.
For sure.
I want to say we think you're a fucking badass.
Thank you.
We think ground music's the shit, and you're a solid writer, and we appreciate what you do, and we hope you keep going. And I don't know what else to say other than thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
And thanks for joining us on the Jellyhead podcast. It's over now.